I think you could get a huge Frost Shield going off this game.
That is cool actually, because I feel like nowadays people always go for the other facet. I have not seen this for a long time right now. So I also kind of wonder if it's intentional. You know, sometimes I feel like we always try to study too much into different facets, and then the fact of it is actually just misclick. Or I forgot to get the right facet. So I wonder which one it is, of course, but Kuku for sure. I think he's not going to be that careless. So I'm intrigued to see how he used this frustrate talent.
Because this is what I see in my pubs a lot. Because I actually didn't get it on the notes for this facet. I only thought that every time a creep dies or a hero dies, the Frost Shield duration is increased, but it also increases the bounces of your ultimate. So every time a creep or a hero dies, and it also adds more bounces for that Chain Frost, but it will not latch and linger like Frostbound does, which is why people prefer it, because it forces you to split. It's so good in a competitive environment when you cannot group up with your allies to help somebody out, because there's an interaction that prevents you from doing so. But in a game like this, where a Timber Saw can literally just delete a hero, take a Tiny or a DK or a Magnus at some point, you can instantly get a couple extra seconds of Frost Shield, and that prevents a +1 physical damage dealer from this Radiant lineup not getting his damage out. So let's see how it works out.
Yeah, just a final note on that, you're playing into 3 melee cores. So I feel like there's more scenarios where the Chain Frost is gonna get to bounce pretty well. So maybe that's another reason why he picked the facet up as well.
I got a curious question. Which do you think is made out of a stronger material, the palm tree or the totem?
Probably the totem, I would imagine. Palm
It should
tree,
be.
we get a lot of that in some beaches, right? Like Malaysia, I feel like I've seen that around sometimes. Let's just say it's not something that I would make into a weapon going up against a totem.
Right. I honestly would love some palm trees, to be honest. I mean, it's early in the morning, and I went outside during the break, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much snow coming down, and I feel like this winter is just never gonna end.
It will be. It just feels very slow, I imagine. The days are slow.
I mean, we went on a trip with the boys during the weekend, and we did say if somebody wins the lottery, we're going to take a nice vacation down south, or maybe all the way to the southeast, you know? Like, never been to Southeast Asia before. I'd love to visit your country.
Yeah, Malaysia has a lot of good food, that's for sure. Okay, I mean, mid lane looking pretty even here. I mean, I say even, but not really. Amel is really struggling in CS right now, which is understandable, right? You are going up against a Shaker. Not going to be easy for you to get any last hits.
Also a little kill attempt there in the top lane too, trying to take this Snapfire down. But for now, will live at least. Natsumi and Kuku, you know, they will have this opening of quick burst damage with the melt strikes. You can't really overextend in a lane like this. You have to force a skewer or cookie to quickly get serious of the situation, but with like a tiny bug impacting them. For now, problem seems to be well fixed with that, and that also gives an opening to see the spell combination in use onto Natsumi. Not really effective, to be fully honest.
Yeah, it's only going to be harder, right? Like, once he gets more levels of melt, you're gonna take equally much damage from the melt strike, and you might even die from it. So I think they'll probably want to do what you said just now. Just try to make them a bit lower, bit by bit, from long range spells, and then calculate the threshold and go down on him. Because if you don't calculate it well, it can very much easily be turned around with the help of Lich.
Yeah, the one weakness of TA is her bad regen, right?
That's why it's really important for her to secure the Lotus, which Kuku has done successfully for Natsumi.
Yeah, very important. Especially when you do have a very mana-hungry heroes on this team. You got to save every single mango at least for the Lich. Curious about this bottom lane as well, where the Timber is up 13 CS. But of course, it's a free farm DK so far. But I think this is going to change with levels when the Timbersaw finally starts to prove himself a bit of a threat to this DK.
Yeah, I feel like this lane probably is probably WS will feel slightly more happier, because if he's able to get to a good start without much pressure on him, he's gonna eventually feel better in the mid to late game against the DK, because he knows that he is the answer to the DK. He is the answer to Magnus and Tiny as well. So I feel like this is more up to Team Kukuys to really put pressure onto the Timbersaw, and by every minute Timbersaw is able to get free from the lane, it's a very good news for Talon.
Oh, close attempt there from Mikoto. Almost getting Armel down, and also Jokum there to assist. They can starve out these water runes away from Armel. Very important to make sure that this Tiny doesn't have a way to bounce back. Might even, worst case scenario, mean that the Tiny would have to walk all the way home if there's no bounty, if there's no water rune to pick up.
Yeah, there is still a bounty on the side of Dire Jungle, but so far really good job coming out from Jokum. He understands that Timber is having no pressure on the bottom side. That's why he can do this and be able to help both sides at the same time. Jing though, getting run down a little bit by Nasumi here.
Ooh.
Jokum will be the one dying first.
Yeah, AU with the first blood here. Or the Kukuys side taking down Jokum. Not always the hero you suspect to find the first blood, but Silencer, he's a pesky laner to play against right now. The whole skill set is built around slows, and can turn out to be a very, very annoying lane to play against. I think, honestly, one of the worst laning matchups to ever play against, and no, it's not the Marcy IO. I hate that so bad. It's the Silencer Dazzle, actually.
Silencer Dazzle? Okay, explain to me, please.
So, you got Poison Bloom slow. If you get the 4 hits, you'll reapply, and basically you can start stacking Poison Bloom. But you have Silencer. If you cast a single spell or land a single right-click with your W on the target, they are just going down to 100 movement speed in no time. If you have no escape tool in the lane, you're just dead.
Yeah, that sounds strong.
It's really not fun. Like, if you have no way of pushing your opponent out of position or having an escape tool, it's unplayable.
I would imagine you are gonna suffer a lot if you're a melee hero playing into this too.
Yeah,
probably gonna be like, do I even want to go back to this lane? Which is what Jokum is probably thinking about right now, because ever since that death, Jokum has not returned to his lane at all. He's just roaming free right now. Alright, bye-bye, WS. You're not gonna die, so I'm out of here.
He's basically kind of done with it. But he is causing them damage on the other side. And that is him taking down Jing. So he'll find a kill and even get to contest the Wisdom. But Jewel, good reaction. He sees what's going on, and that also forces the Clockwork to go back home. And so the 7-minute Wisdoms will be split 1 for 1. Basically, the reference I was saying about the slows was, remember when laning against Venomancer was pain?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, just in, 3D.
Just in another more painful way.
Yeah. I can't really think of that many painful lane duos to play against, unless you have like these very easy combinations to play in the lane, like Juggernaut Oracle, which was a thing to look at. Grimstroke +1 type lineups. Something that we see in today's Dota a lot, which is kind of outside the laning stage, but just global lineups of Dawnbreaker Spectre, maybe even the Furion, that is still a very viable core hero. But in a game like this, I don't really see anything super scary. You know what to predict. You know how these Blink Initiators, they're in quite sizable numbers, actually, in this game when you think about Timber's a good Blink carrier, TA's another, Earthshaker, Magnus, DK, all of these cores in this game. And talking about those cores, they are already being jumped on as WS takes down Yowie for the first time.
Yeah, I feel like that's the scariest thing about Team Persol. I just don't see any hero that is able to address Team Persol in this draft. And I'm worried about Team Kukuys. I feel like WS will be able to just roam free with his best hero. And not to mention, this is a first pick Team Verso as well.
Radiant's bottom tower is
So
under
not being
attack.
addressed in the draft, I think is a big issue coming out from Team Kukuys here. We have seen a lot of times that WS has proven us a lot of times he's able to solo carry games in Team Verso if he's left unaddressed. And this might just become one of those
Radiant's
games.
bottom tower
Yeah, honestly, this feels like a game where this Timbersaw could easily have like 13, 14 kills at the end of the game. Like, just look at the lineup he's playing into. This could even be WS's game to carry, to be honest. No, it's not even down to the TA. WS is probably going to be the true carry of this game.
Yeah, I remember watching the last qualifier. I couldn't remember which one, but he had like 25-0 on Team Verso.
Yeah.
First pick Team Verso, nonetheless. So, yeah.
It makes you wonder, why didn't
It
we
makes-
counter this hero?
Exactly. It makes you wonder, why is this hero pickable for Talon? I feel like a lot of teams would have been just right up ban it and not want to deal with it. Just, you know, skip the headache. But yeah, we're in this game. We're seeing Team Verso, so kind of feel like we are about to ride on a Team Verso show here. Team Verso show. So
Especially with the
better do
Tiny
something
pushed
soon.
back this much, and the Magnus. If you just look at net worth, the 4K lead that the Talon team has been able to build up slowly but surely without having to make any massive impact on the map. Now there is a 4-man rotation to kill a Clockwork at least. And they're really putting in the hates onto Jokum, but Talon's just farming more actively. They have more kill threat potential with this lineup of theirs at the current moment. And with Armel having such a difficult time in the laning stage, who's going to be making the plays? It feels like it's going to be like another 3 to 5 minutes of no blink daggers.
Yeah, I feel like when you are running into this kind of situation where you feel like a play is needed but you don't have the tools to do it, normally you just want to try to protect your own jungle, making sure that you are farming as efficient as enemy. And then if the enemy is doing some kind of invasion, you are there to defend your spaces and hopefully punish the enemy from invading you. I think that's like a pretty solid way of using your spells without items. But this time around, though, look at Talon. They hit their dagger timing with Arcane Rune, immediately looking for a play. So is this where Kukuys are able to defend their move? I think is going to be very important. It's going to affect how this game goes.
Well, the positive side, they were just able to clean up that stack, but Jewel doesn't look like he's feeling very healthy here. Instant Echo Slam there from Mikoto, and no chance to even get the skewer off as Natsumi cleans him up. So yeah, Shaker finished his blink, reveals his blink, and I was just looking at the pop-ups of items being bought, and Tiny finished his face boots at sub 11 minutes, so that just tells how much in trouble he is, and WS is on the hunt.
Oh no.
For Armel here, the chase is on, the TP out, should be enough for him to get away. Kuku almost made it through the portal to get a Sinister Gaze. That could have been a really deadly kill on the Tiny. That could have spoiled his game completely.
Definitely. I think that was a good heads-up TP from Amel as well. If he didn't press TP instantly, he would have gotten caught by the leash as well. Okay, Mikoto only 40 seconds, another 40 seconds more to the second Echo Slam. So this is where, again, oh they're attacking already.
Jumping in. There's the instant global silence, though. The turnaround. The first impact of the global silence shown, but Mikoto, they only got through the shield rune. Now they need to get rid of the rest as well. WS is here. Mikoto dead. RP used by Jewel. Doesn't catch anybody, though. Only finishes the kill. And WS is on the chase here onto Fing. Armel does get a nice avalanche onto the toss back. Right on top of the DK. And Yoe will go down to Kuku. And they also forced the buyback off of AU, but it's not looking very good here for the side of the Kukuys. But can they stand their ground? At least they got the Timbersaw out of the way. But that does still leave Natsumi and Kuku alive throughout that entire engagement. A dieback as well on the Silencer.
Yeah, that was painful for Silencer. But the defense all started very well, right? And this is exactly what we talked about just now. If you don't have the tools to look for a fight, then you want to be able to be ready to defend. And that was exactly what they did. They had two supporters camping Tiny, and then they managed to bait Talon in, responded with Snapfire ulti and Global Silence. Unfortunately, they just were lacking a little bit more damage. And they used everything on a Shaker, so didn't have much for Team Persaw. And that was a good cleanup by WS there. Even though he died for it, but still, this is very, very good for the progress of the game. Because TA was the one that stayed alive. They took the tower, and instantly they went into the triangle to get some stacks. So, steadily building up their lead here from Talon's side.
Still a triple core lead here for the Talon side, and slowly but surely getting this DK up to pace. And when you think about their support duo as well, one is great for potentially counter-initiating. The other is maybe slightly better than that, that being the Snapfire. But it does limit this lineup a little bit here. You don't really count this Silencer as a save, as Armel going to be jumped on in the bottom lane without the proper use of a global silence. That would have done no good. Have to save it for bigger engagements.
He was just 200 gold away from the dagger, and then now you're pushing back a little bit more for maybe like 2 minutes. And that is another 2 minutes that Talon is gonna be able to roam free on the map.
Yeah.
They do have dagger on Magnus though, so might be able to make some plays here. You can see the Jing is following him very closely, ready to press the Mortimer kisses, but they are not able to find anybody here.
Silencer was considered a Snapfire counter for quite a time, just to cancel the ulti. Now you have the freedom of getting a full duration Mortimer's kisses, which you kind of have to use to some very good extent this game too.
Yeah, I feel like Snapfire, you will always want to be throwing your Mortimer kisses whenever it's available, right? And so far we only seen once, and I feel like there's just very little ways for them to do it.
It's an echo.
Mikoto.
All right, just smacks
Once
Jewel
again,
into the
right,
trees.
Magnus was scouted by the traps, so it's really hard for Magnus to find any play through side lanes, I feel like, especially if you're going on the TS lane, because most of the time it's gonna be late full of traps.
Yeah.
So they were trying to make some two-man play there, but unfortunately most likely scouted by the traps. And now they're smoking all the way top to the TS lane again, so not gonna be easy fight for them.
Yeah. Clockwork is invading at the same time, and that's the one that they're going to be jumping on. Protecting their triangle. Not enough for the kill, though. Global Silence is also used as they're trying to disengage, but it saves Armel's life. But it will not probably save Jing's life as he is being hunted. Natsumi frozen one single right click. Doesn't want to chase under the tower. Instant invasion by Talon, so they used quite a lot just to almost kill a Clockwork. That's gonna be at least a tower now.
That was the first showing of WS Aghanim's as well.
Oh, hook shot also in the back. To be able to catch one. Jewel is the one who kills the Clockwork instead, and his RP goes off. WS is kind of alone here, but he does close in the gap with the Snapfire. And with that Ags, this guy is unkillable. He's literally unkillable right now.
You have to get up from him. Oh, that's bullshit.
There goes AU. Armel trying to time it. Nice timing with the toss at least. And here comes Yahweh to help out, but the Frost Shield runs out. And even with that one kill he was able to get, it's not going to be enough to get him out of the way. So Kukuys actually gets something in return.
That was a really crucial and big kill as well. Team Persaw is sitting, top at the top 2 of the net worth list, so that kind of kill brings it a lot to the net worth. I feel like Mikoto was probably looking for some angles to join the fight as well, but Zone probably being zoned away from the Magnus. We didn't catch that on the camera just now. But Natsumi though, completely alone actually, with Jokum's help.
Not sure if Jokum's help is going to be enough. This TA is in trouble. Natsumi gets the refraction off under the tower, but there are too many instances of damage. Oh, Talon. Small mistakes here and there. I mean, there's the Aghanim's reveal from the Timber Saw. That backfires. Now they also lose their carry, so a couple more like this, and suddenly you're looking at a very scary game to play, and at least AU's taken down by WS.
Snapfire might be in
Rocket shows both of their locations. Mikoto has an 80 in his bottle. They could just close in on Jing. Jumping on the sidelines, Mikoto wanted to stay hidden. They were able to disengage, get straight back on the safety of their high ground.
Okay, that's not too bad. After all is silencer for a TA. I'll say that's very much worth it. I feel like they dodged some bullets as well, like you said, right? The first Aghanim showing when backfire for Talon. And that is probably one of the harder timing for Kukuys to deal with right now. But as time goes by, and of course the punishment kill, they were able to get some levels up. Now Tiny has his dagger as well. That's why they are making this move again to the top lane. Do they have vision though?
See if they have enough targets locked down as well. Another TA trap pops right on top of Armel. Tiny suddenly losing all of his movement speed. His blink put on cooldown because of it too. So this smoke backfires. Talon awake and ready.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
If you look at the mini-map right now, there's so many information coming out from Talon's side with the traps, with multiple ops at the same time surviving on the map. They're actually having 4 observer ward, having complete vision of Team Kukuys. So all these kind of smoke plays are not going to be easy to pull out because of the amount of information that Talon have.
Yeah, it's not really fun playing Dota when you're trying to set up a play and you kind of feel forced to also make a play with these blink timers, and the enemy sees every move that you're about to make. And just kind of, well, we just have these blinks now and we can't make a play with them, so puts you in a position of thinking, could I have spent these 2.2k gold into something else, like a farming item?
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make though.
It is a really hard decision to make, yeah.
Yeah.
But Talon, meanwhile, they're applying pressure where they know there's a weak spot. A pretty free tier 2 tower taken. And with the Desop Blink on Natsumi level 16, I think Roshan might just be on the list very soon.
Yeah, this time around they're taking a slightly lesser risk. They have 2 supports to help make sure that Natsumi is able to take down the tower cleanly. I like what they're doing right now. They are committing for an objective, but at the same time they are also not letting go of farm. Because when he's doing that, WS is farming, Mikoto is farming, and even with this Roshan at the time, right, it doesn't require any of the other 2 cores as well if they don't want. I feel like a Clock and TA would have enough damage for this. But it seems the Clock has other plans in his head, and Mikoto will instead come to assistance.
Yeah. So that's going to be an Aegis timer, pretty handy here for Talon. But that also means that you are going up against all those blink daggers.
Top lane.
Of a risk. Yeah, AU's doing some aggressive scouting. Topside jungle. I think they've spotted the silencer. They know exactly where he is. WS on the chase. That should be a silencer dead, unless
Yos?
There we go.
Silence. Not getting off that.
Yeah. You've got the axe on the Timber Saw, but have they got any Yules on the side of Kukuys actually to cast on him? Because that's the one way you can counter the Timber Axe.
Doesn't seem like it. There's no one that likes to use
yeah, it's a pretty horrible
naturally.
Yules lineup.
Yes, absolutely. They'll probably have to wait until the point where Dragon Knight decides to pick up a nullifier, but that's maybe 20 minutes down the road. So
yeah,
a lot of value here that can be found with the Aghanim from Timbersaw. At least 20 minutes of that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Certainly a pretty rough game, but at least the DK is catching up to the rest of the pack. Not too far away from the rest of the lead. Still requires that they get the right items up on the mag and on the Tiny. Jing jumped on by Jokum and Kuku. There's another toss coming in as well from Armel. And the global silence is used for this, so Timber instantly duels up. Does get stunned up by the DK. Now the chase. Get a decent amount of damage, and AU dies. There's Jewel with the RP. Pushes the Timber deep inside the base. Can they clean him up? With the toss coming out, yes they can. Yo is gonna find himself a kill. Mikoto backing away from the high ground position. There's still a tier 2 tower in between. The Timbersaw again. I think they were very well on point on what this Timber wants to do and how they can punish him.
Yeah, they spend all their spells trying to bring down the Timbersaw. They succeed though, but the cost is also pretty huge as well. They are gonna lose their mid tier 2 tower. There's gonna be no RP, no global, and also multiple kisses for the next 1 minute as well. So you will have to find some time to buy themselves some time. That was close.
Natsumi could have followed up on that. Jewel though, with Armel. Another trap.
Oh.
Another
Natsumi?
found hero. This time Natsumi is pushed down and with the hook shot on cooldown. Don't actually want to jump Natsumi right away. Armel, though, wants to fight it. Everybody's on the low ground. Armel tossed away, or at least with the cookie. Joachim is dead. Natsumi still holding on to the Aegis. AU not feeling very healthy. Armel's going to go down as well with a fissure from the side. And Mikoto will get to cleaning up. Dragon Tail Sun as well as a WS. They'll keep the Timbersaw at bay for now. Another attempt made by Jewel.
He's jumping in!
Catch him, but they just go straight after him. Echo Slam with no mercy. But they don't have any creeps nearby, so they can't really hit through the backdoor protection.
Radiant are scanning.
Wow, they are really playing without fear right now. Oh, so many times that I thought, okay, maybe this is where they disengage, but they jumped in instead, and they get a kill. So very good calculations of how much damage is needed to take them down. That was a very cool change of target also from Natsumi. Went from committing to Lish into jumping in front of Tiny, knowing that Shaker is just behind him for the backup. So really good team fighting coming out from Talon right here. And good thing, good news is they still have 1 minute of Aegis to play around. So this pressure, this choke is not gonna stop for another minute at least.
Yeah, it is going to be pretty difficult, even with their ultis up on the Kukuys side with Global Silence and the Mortimer's Kisses available. It is this DK really in fighting form. 15,000 net worth built up. They are smoking towards the bottom half of the map. Nobody's going to be shown there. A couple of their smokes already popped in the mid lane. Talon is on full chase. AU had to use his TP under the flare, dodged the hook shot, but does he have the movement speed to run away? Mikoto, oh, he goes left. AU goes right. He's trying to get the twin gate again, and there we go. We'll catch him. Looking for the silencer.
Space created.
Space is being created for sure. It's a chase that has taken a while. Still an inevitable end.
Yeah, question is, can Kukuys get enough out of this space? It does feel like they are together as 4. It's not the easiest as well to show off lanes, especially against traps, against hook shot. So I think this is the strength of the Talon's draft really coming in to show. It's really hard to play when you are behind.
And remember, this is still the second best buyback hero in the game, right after Dawnbreaker.
That's true. Yeah, Dawnbreaker is probably the best, honestly.
Only thing is, can the Silencer afford a buyback? Because AU hasn't really been feeling rich on his support this game. But there are also some hopes and dreams. Okay, Joachim definitely won there with that hook shot. Didn't quite connect, but more about the itemization on the Radiant side, because I just looked at the Tiny's quick buy. You know, you've got the Kanda lined up that will take a while to get there. But that's when Tiny's game slowly starts to take a turn for the better. Finally get some use out of all that damage that he naturally has. Same for the DK as well. Still a couple items away from really turning into that big evil machine. As WS, they have spotted every hero basically on the side of the Kukuys, but cannot quite get through that defender's gate, so willing to leave them there. Also some fresh wards placed down, but they know about these wards, so they will lose them if they don't go for the instant D-ward right away, as they do. Always a bit of a scary trap.
You can tell that WS really understands it takes a lot for Radiant side to bring him down, and which is why he's always just playing in front of the enemy's face, and he's even making enemy think twice about whether or not they want to initiate on him, because they have to think about the Shaker coming in, TA coming in, hook shot as well. It's not an easy decision for them to do so at all. But if they don't care about the Timber can just poke them easily.
Oh, that's a lot of damage, and Armel's going to be taken down, and Yoe also getting sent up.
He cancelled.
As they've got the DK caught, he's got no way out of this one. Those are costly deaths, and even they might get the Snapfire here. WS is already on to Jing with the quick reactions from the Outpost TP. Snap just wanted to cut another wave in top and might just pay the ultimate price of his life. Gonna be very difficult to try and dance around this Timber Saw. It's definitely making you work for it. It's a real dance, isn't it? At the same time, Jewel is dying on the other side of the map, and yeah, they're diving the base. They just killed everybody on the Kukuys side, and the man himself giving the real laughters.
Jing, your tango dance will be remembered. But yeah, this game looked like it's being blown wide open here. He is definitely one of the better heroes to make a very good use of this kind of scenarios. One of the better power hitters besides DK and Alchemist. Also, I want to say that we don't see much AC being built by Earthshaker, but this is a really decent AC game actually.
Yep.
Knowing that all three cores from enemy side are all physical damage. So in this case, AC definitely sound better than Shivas.
Yeah, an extra buffer for TA's damage output too. So yeah,
Exactly.
I do like the theory with Talon's items in this team. Maybe this agonism of the Timber Saw, the way we saw it being used at the very first go, wasn't exactly ideal, but it still proves its point. And into another Roshan with the TA. Always knowing what time Roshan is going to be back up, and the Radiant side also aware of the Ennet. Kuku in front. Kuku. Nice dodge with the blink. And they've got information now that allows the cores to jump in. Armel down to 50% until he gets his BKB off. AU is also pushed all the way back. He dies without even getting the global silence off, and he's gone for 30 seconds without a buyback. They're in peril of losing all of their heroes. They've lost Armel. Yoe also low, but they have already called this one a GG and let Talon have the first round.
Talon victory.
Yeah, that was a pretty clean game coming out from Talon. Not much to say, to be honest. They went with the first pick Timber Saw, didn't get punished.